y'all, so I'm back with a new video, and y'all have no idea how many times I have tried to record this video. I've legit tried to record this video at least 30 times. At least. And I just come to the conclusion that this is going to be a very raw and unedited video, which is probably a good thing. Like, the topic that we're going to discuss today probably needs to be discussed in a very raw and unedited fashion. So, grab you a glass of wine, a mug of tea, whatever you want to sip on, and get you some snacks, pop a squat, and let's talk. Okay, so today I want to discuss with y'all something that I've been going through, something that I've been struggling with, but it's something that I think I'm finally getting to a place in my life where I can share with people how I'm overcoming it, or how I'm coping with it, rather, because I don't think it's something that you just ever 100% completely overcome. And that's fear. And not fear of like bugs, or fear of dying, or fear of ghosts, but actually the fear of living. Yes, fear of living life. I feel as if this is something that a lot of people who are going through a transitional phase of their life experience. Anytime we are going from one place, a very secure place usually of our life, to a place where we don't necessarily have as much control, or we've never been, there's this fear of all the experiences that could come along with that move. And so what happens is we kind of settle. Like, we start to settle, we get afraid of moving, so we want to stick to our comfort zones, and we want to stick to what's familiar. And I realized that that's something that I've been doing in my life, and I thought that the transitions were what was causing me stress and anxiety. And it wasn't until recently that I realized it wasn't the fear of moving from one place to the next that was causing me so much stress and anxiety. It was the fear of living life. It was me trying to control the inevitable. And the inevitable is life happens. So I wasn't stressed and anxious and having panic attacks because I was going from one phase of my life to the next. I was having all of that stress and all of those unnecessary emotions because I was trying to control something that did not need or could be controlled. The reality is, everybody is going to have an experience that is going to hurt them, that is going to shake them to their core, that's going to cause them to fall, but it's going to require that they get up. We can't control it, we can't stop it. All we can do is let it happen and live through it. And I realized that I was terrified of living. Like, I was legit terrified of having experiences. And I could give you a myriad of reasons as to what and why I was terrified of it. I'll tell you, I was afraid of being hurt again. I was afraid of making mistakes again. I was afraid of failing again. I was afraid of not being liked. I was afraid of being different. And honestly, I was afraid of being alone. All of those fears had me afraid of living a full life. And I'm going to tell y'all, I realized that being afraid of living was keeping me from having a testimony. And when I realized that me trying to take control over things that did not need to be controlled, I wasn't just blocking my blessings, I was blocking blessings for other people. What I'm saying is that whenever we try to take control over life, and whenever we try to like put God's purpose and plan for our life into like this little box, my hand's ashy, but whenever we try to put God's purpose for our life into this really controlled area, what happens is we don't limit God's ability to perform in our life. We limit our ability to go through it. And that's what I realized I was doing. I wasn't limiting God by trying to control God. I was limiting myself. I was creating all this drama, all this stress, all this anxiety over my life by trying to control God instead of having the faith to just trust God to get me through the phase, the transitional phase, through the change, and just roll with it and go through those experiences. When we try to stop our lives from having experiences, when we try to stop from getting hurt, when we stop taking chances because we're afraid of getting hurt, when we stop taking chances because we're afraid of falling, when we stop doing things because we don't make mistakes, what happens is we don't give God room to bring us out. We don't give God the opportunity to give us a story to tell other people so that they can overcome whatever they're going through. And man, like when I realized that, it was so profound for me because I know that my purpose in life is to be a blessing to other people. I don't know how. I don't know all the ways that I'm going to do it. I don't even know when and where I'm going to make the biggest impacts or how I'm going to make the largest impacts in people's lives. All I know is that God has given me this purpose to serve and be a blessing to other people. But I can't do that when I'm afraid of experiencing things. I can't talk to people about overcoming pain if I'm afraid of getting hurt. I can't talk to people about coming out of their comfort zones if I want to stay in mine. I can't talk to people about losing weight if I stop going to the gym because my body isn't doing what I want it to do. I can't talk to people about anything if I've never experienced it. And it's like, I remember my mom telling me when I was getting ready to go to college, she was like, you know, Kate, you're not going to live to make all the mistakes in the world. Like, you're never going to live to make all the mistakes in the world. So take the opportunity to learn from other people's mistakes. And that was it resonated so deeply with me because I realized now, when I think about what she said, I realize now that when I try to control God, what I'm doing is blocking myself from having the opportunity to make a mistake that somebody else can learn from. And that's not to say that we should be reckless and we shouldn't be wise and we shouldn't operate with a spirit of discernment. But what it means is that we should operate with constant faith that regardless of what happens, regardless of whatever experiences we have, God is going to bring us out. And like, I don't know, like for me, it makes it so much easier. Like, it makes everything that I've ever been afraid of seem conquerable. It makes everything that I've been sad and stressed about seem so minute because I realize that it's not for me to try to control. It's for me to experience so that I can overcome it and share with somebody else how I made it through, and encourage somebody else and inspire somebody else to know that they can overcome and they can make it through whatever they're going through as well. So I don't know, like, it's almost liberating. Like when you realize that life is supposed to be free. Life is supposed to be lived and lived well. And living life well does not mean it has to be perfect. Living life well doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. Living life well means that you come out of a storm with a story to tell and a story of victory. Man, like, it's so beautiful. Like, it's so beautiful. So that's what I've been experiencing. That's what I've been going through, and I wanted to share that with you guys because we cannot afford, like, we all have a purpose, and our purposes are so big that we can't afford to try to control life. We can't afford to try to control the experiences that God has in store for us. We can't afford to be afraid to live. We can't. Like, we just cannot afford it. We have so many things that we have to do. We have so much good news and so much goodness to share with other people. We can't afford to be afraid to go through things to get to that good thing, to get to that goodness. And it's so funny. Like, I know for me, like, I struggle with being single because I feel like it's not even a feeling. I know that I'm such a good woman. And it's not to say that I'm not flawed. It's not to say that I don't make mistakes. But it's knowing who God created me to be. Like, I know the purpose that God has for my life. Like, I know it. And because I know it, and because I know, who God created me to be, it's like I know that I deserve a really good man. Like, I know I deserve to be in a really good relationship. And because I've gone through so many heartbreaks, because I've gone through so many bad breakups, like I've kind of gotten to this point where, like, you kind of start not even wanting the things that you've always wanted. And what I'm realizing is that I need to go. I needed to go through those poor relationships. I need to go through those bad experiences so that when I get to my good thing and when my husband finds his good thing, like the story is gonna be so beautiful, And that's how all of our experiences in life are supposed to be. Like, we're supposed to go through these transitional phases. We're supposed to get hurt. We're supposed to make mistakes. We're supposed to get knocked down. We're supposed to, get dirty. We're supposed to do all of those things so that we can overcome and we can relish in the goodness of the outcome. Like, we're supposed to be able to relish in the victory because we went through the BS. And if we're afraid to live, you deny yourself the opportunity to relish in goodness. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when you're afraid to live your life, you're afraid to fall, you're afraid to make mistakes, you're afraid to get hurt. You're not keeping yourself safe, but you're denying yourself the opportunity to really dwell in a happy place, in a really good place. You're denying yourself the opportunity to be victorious. Yeah, so like when we like kind of condition ourselves to think that, oh, I'm not gonna do this because I want to play it safe, or I don't want to get hurt, so I'm not gonna do that. You're not playing it safe. You're not protecting yourself, because the reality is things are gonna happen whether we have control of them or not. Life is gonna happen, but it's how you deal with what happens to your life. And when you're trying to control it, when you're trying to control things that don't need to be controlled, you're making the opportunity to be happy so much longer. Like, you're creating all this unnecessary conflict and drama and mess and anxiety and stress and frustration. You're creating all this unnecessary mess, and you're prolonging your opportunity to be victorious and to share the good news with other people, your opportunity to share your testimony with somebody else. So I said all that to say that not only can we not afford to be afraid, you deserve to go through all the mess, all the BS, all the crap that you're afraid of, all the mistakes. You deserve to go through those things because you deserve the happy ending. You deserve a happy ending. Yes, like, in order to get to that happy ending, you cannot be afraid to live your life. Hey y'all, so I really hope this video was a blessing to you guys. I really hope this video inspired you and encouraged you to go through life with, I don't know, a bit more ease, to go through the next experience, the next uncomfortable experience with a little bit more grace. And I wanted to share this with you guys because God has really been blessing me with this. And I really hope it's been a blessing to you guys. Alrighty, so I'm looking forward to talking to you guys soon. If you want a tutorial on how I did this turban, it's a bit different from the one I had in my last video. And if you want a tutorial on this makeup look, please like, comment, and subscribe down below. And in the comments, share with me you guys' experience with overcoming fear. Share with, everybody else, how God is taking you from one place in your life to the next. And share with everybody else, your happy ending. Like, I'm inspired by people's happy endings. But even more than that, I'm inspired by how people overcome all the mess, all the crap that's meant to like tear us apart and keep us bound and keep us sad and keep us afraid. I want to hear how God brought you out. Matter of fact, I want to hear how you gave God the opportunity to move in your life. All right, thank y'all so much for watching. I love you. Be beautiful, baby.